Striking out today.
Trying to will it to be free.
Will it be something when?
I don't know what's that is now.
Time.
Not good, buddy. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna
Mr.
start.
Bryce? How are you?
It did, and I stopped it, and I started.
I talked to one of your favorite people yesterday, Renee.
Start.
She says,
I
start
think
your.
we're on, Bob.
She
Yeah,
says,
we're
start
on.
your guy.
Start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Here we go.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. This is the regular scheduled Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Wednesday, April 16th. I get a roll call of members, please.
Mayor Land,
Here.
Betsy Barnes,
Here.
Bob Clemens,
Here.
Jim Crook, and Billy Gomez.
Present.
For president, Mayor.
Okay, we do have a quorum. First on the agenda is the minutes of the prior meeting, which was held on Wednesday, April 2nd.
So move.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes
Second.
in a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Addition of new items, you do have one, if I could get the board to approve it for our fire department. It's an agreement with Fire Recovery USA. If we could have that added as number 9 on the agenda. Yeah, I'm asking if the board could
So
add that
moved.
for the fire. Yeah. Thank you. So we have a motion to approve the add-on. We have a second
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll have that as number 9.
Number 9.
Up next is our special recognition. So we weren't able to do Employee of the Month last meeting, so we're doing it this meeting because we didn't want you to miss out. So, so this month's
Big day.
is Dale Plants. Dale's a long time, 19 years in our Public Works Department. Dale, you want to come front and center?
Please.
So like I said, Dale, been here almost 20 years. And we always tell the employees, well, first of all, I want people to see the employees around or not, which is true. So Dale was actually nominated, not by anybody within the city, but one of our residents. So he was out doing his stuff. A senior citizen, elderly female was in, had some car issues, stranded. Dale took it upon himself to get her car going, assist her, follow her to a car repair shop. Waited there until he knew she was all set, not stranded. And then her son, actually, the city, went on with you for employee of the month. So he's very proud. So I think it's just, you know, out doing your job, but you come across somebody that's in need, take a few minutes out to help her. She's obviously very grateful. Costs right out of the guy. Very well said. Costs nothing out of the guy. So it would have been your mother and your grandmother, what we do. So great example of a city employee and yourself. So great job.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You can probably display and flaunt.
I'll bet that was really good.
Full memories. She won't forget. And then you have some gift cards from our sponsors.
Thank you guys.
All right. Mary's gonna want to get a picture.
Yeah.
No
Yes,
sneaking
please.
away. Here, come on over.
Thank you. Got it.
Great job.
Okay, moving on, jump into old and deferred business, our utility updates with Al. Good morning, Al.
Morning. So we had a lot of activity and some good news to report today.
Like that.
We'll start off on the water. Our water main looping project, we're still awaiting the wheels of government to approve our change order through SRF. So we'll continue to push for that, and as soon as we get it, we can perform the additional work. Our new 24-inch water supply line, we performed archaeological reconnaissance, no arrowheads, so we're good to go there. There's going to be a preliminary engineering report, public meeting presentation, April 21st at 9 a.m. for this project and for the next round of lead service line projects. Those are required. We need to provide public meetings, provide those to SRF as we submit for funding. The 24-inch line is anticipated to be installed concurrent with the new wastewater treatment plant. For our current lead service line replacement project, it bid on March 31st. We had two bidders, Atlas Excavating and Gatlin Plumbing. If you turn to page 2 of your report, you'll see that Gatlin Plumbing is the low bidder. We identified budgeted funds available, and we indicated that we would award to the low bidder up to budgeted funds available. So the engineer's estimate was $3,526,070, and Gatlin came in a little bit under at $3,347,000. So we'll proceed with those lead service line replacements. The way that typically goes is we go from area to area. We try to get last minute approvals to replace lead lines. As people see their neighbors having theirs replaced, they tend to be a little more desirous of having theirs done as well. And we'll just proceed with replacing these lines until we run out of funds.
When will you guys end that up this summer?
I believe it's a 6-month construction duration, so it most likely will end in the fall to winter of this year.
This is an ongoing thing, isn't it?
It is an ongoing thing. You're required to replace all your lead service lines within the next 10 years per EPA mandate. And we have these beneficial financing programs available to us that we're trying to take advantage so that the city doesn't have to incur additional costs.
That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
I think so.
It's at 0%, which you can't get lower than that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mentioned the lead service line PER, which is for the next round. That will be presented as well in April 21st. And it's just a continuation of this work to additional areas of lesser priority. So for your wastewater utility improvements update, our treatment plant project is finally substantially complete. So we've substantially completed this project. We've assembled the certificate of substantial completion. Affixed to that is a punch list. The punch list is outstanding remaining work items to be done. The items that we identified, they're mostly startup related as far as controls and monitoring, but we do have generous funds that we're withholding. The punch list withholds your entire 5% retainage. So I'm making requests that this board approve the mayor's signature on the certificate of substantial completion with the corresponding punch list, which retains all funds, all 5% retainage. As they complete these items, then they'll request additional payment applications for release of retainage.
Okay, thank you, Al. So I'll bring that back to the board for any further questions or action. I do not know. So we need a motion to give me the authority to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Now the big news on your downtown interceptor project. That project had a bid opening Monday this week. We received 4 bids. They were very favorable. The engineer's estimate was $58 million. We also included a 5% kicker for inflation because the estimate was assembled August of 2024. So our budgeted funds was close to $62 million. It appears like the apparent low is going to be around low 50s. So we did come in about $10 million under budget. Too bad the press isn't here to report on that.
We'll make sure they know.
Okay. Any questions on that bid?
On that bid there, we're going to take and send that over for review right there.
Yeah, you want to expand on that, Al?
Sure. With the bids, I took the bids back on Monday, and what we do is we evaluate them to make sure that they're responsive, that all the paperwork is in place. Then we'll contact their references. And then with this project, I thought it would be prudent to hold a meeting with the mayor's office and with Public Works to sit down, clearly identify our expectations with respect to the project, make sure the contractor understands and is in agreement. And once we receive that understanding, then we'll make our recommendation for award, and we'll utilize that paperwork to schedule our bond closing and move forward with the project.
So myself and staff were with Al and his people at the bid opening. So yeah, as Al said, that go back and review absolutely everything, and then we'll have just to the size of everything. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page of what's expected and all the provisions and requirements. So we'll have once Al reaches that point, we'll have a meeting with staff and Terry and whoever else needs to be there with that vendor.
How many bids we have?
4 bids were submitted.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on the bids? Okay. I also have 2 task orders to present. The first task order is a reallocation of funds. So our initial borrowing through the state revolving loan fund was $35 million. That $35 million was allocated to the designs of all the first phase projects. It also paid for the design of the downtown interceptor project. It also paid for construction of our west side lift station, interconnecting piping, the interceptor component on the treatment plant, and the treatment plant improvements. So since these projects are close to finished, we went back to our budget. We identified, a lot of times these are hourly work items. So in some categories, Commonwealth goes over, in some categories, Commonwealth goes under with respect to those hourly work items, and then we true it up at the end. Now that we're close to the end, we look to true up these numbers. We identified in our analysis that we anticipate having close to $100,000. I think it was $120,000 remaining. So we were looking to reallocate funds from overages to underages. And then I'm looking to place this $120,000 in 4 or 5 other work categories that are hourly work categories that we may incur additional costs. As soon as the project's closed out, the funds are remaining, then we'll look to transition those funds over to phase 2. So that task order 2025-01 for a net change to contract of $0 is in front of you for your consideration.
So it's to take that 120,000 to reallocate it in those line items or those funding spent expenses that will probably be short of what was originally.
Correct. These are about half dozen line items like startup, asset management plan, things that we have to finalize.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we have a budgetary location to pull from based upon the hours that we incur, but we don't anticipate incurring all the funds. It's not prudent at this time to provide a negative amendment and then have to come back and ask for additional funds. We're just reallocating.
Right. And it's already funds that have been budgeted and
these are
allocated it within the scope of the
Yeah,
project.
this is a Commonwealth contract. So there are existing funds that have been budgeted that we're looking to reallocate to different categories.
Okay, so then you'd be looking for approval stated for task order 2025-01.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve that task order. We have a second
A second.
and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. The next task order is a significant one. It's not a $0 task order. This is task order 2025-02 in the amount of $4,110,000. With the bids in from the Downtown Interceptor, now we're looking to establish our budget for bidding, construction engineering, inspection, and startup of the Interceptor. The Interceptor is a 2-year-long project. With the construction engineering, inspection, bidding, all of that is hourly as incurred line items. We established a budget that we premised our borrowing on for the engineering services. So these funds right here are the funds that we've identified in our budget that your rate increase supports and your borrowing supports. So we're looking to have this contract approved so that we can get reimbursed for the bidding that we performed, and then move forward with the construction, engineering, and inspection on this project. When you close on your loan with SRF, you'll provide all the contracts, the contractor's contract, the engineer's contract, rate consultant, bond counsel, legal fees, anything of that nature, goes to SRF to justify the budget that we submitted so you can close on your loan. So that's why we're providing a contract as presented to SRF in the amounts denoted.
Okay. And again, it's all money we knew was coming as part of the overall scope of it.
It's all money that's coming and
Right.
none of it is a lump sum. So it's just as incurred hourly costs.
Okay, so bring this back to the board for questions of Al or action.
I'll make the motion for approval as presented by Al.
So I have a motion to approve task order 2025-02.
Yes, sir.
We have a second
I'll second.
and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Your Southeast wastewater treatment plant, we did provide the current preliminary design to staff, and we'll schedule a meeting to review with them. We're currently finalizing our opinion of probable construction cost within the preliminary design. I want to make sure that we have that cost estimate completed, because if we're over or under, we want to identify with that to staff as we review, so we can look at options to scale back the project, or if there's things they want to incorporate that are needed and we have funds available, we can do so. Your last project is the collection system improvements. These are the 3 lift stations. We're still looking to acquire the Delaware property. Now with the Downtown Interceptor bid, we did have a lot of land acquisition, a lot of efforts involved there. I think we can refocus our efforts and secure this property and then move forward with that design. I believe I have one other item to present, and that's under the wastewater utility improvements project. There's an invoice from Commonwealth in the amount of $60,184.17. And that's for costs incurred under the existing contract. And we're just requesting that you provide the mayor with permission to sign the approval and the draw from the proper funding account.
Okay, I think this is what was held over from the last Board of Works meeting.
It is.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Al. So we'll bring this then to the board for questions or action.
So move on that, Mayor, as predicted, as presented.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve draw number 6. Any further discussion on the motion?
That'll wrap that up.
He asked if that would wrap that up.
That wraps up that one.
That one. Yeah, lot to go, but
It never ends, Bobby.
any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Al, I just had one question. With the Downtown Interceptor, do we have a expected start date? And do we have an expected, along the route, where would that start?
Right now, during the bidding process, when we put in gravity sewer, we go from the low end to the high end. Because when you dig, if you run into anything, you want to be able to adjust your pipe and then not be in trouble once you get to the high end. During the bidding process, I had two contractors contact me indicating they would not be able to be completed in 2 years' time with that approach. So they were looking to start at two separate locations. Within our bid, we identified a secondary location they could start at and what the deduct to the contract would be. So the apparent low is willing to provide a $3 million deduct to the contract if he's able to use two crews versus one crew. This current start point would be right adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant. If we start with these two locations, we most likely will have a conversation with the contractor, slide his second start location to where we have a drop manhole. Drop manhole has about a 2-foot drop in elevation. That would give us some safety on our part if they did need to adjust anything a little bit, make sure everything continues to flow, and see if we can harvest close to that $3 million in cost savings. So right now, base bid next to the treatment plant, but I think it's going to be prudent for the city to consider two crews versus one based upon the substantial cost savings.
Okay, and are we looking midsummer time to,
I would guess that you would close in June or July. Then they'll schedule their subsurface utility exploration. They have 90 days for that. So August, September, October, you're probably looking at breaking ground in October or November.
okay, all right, just wanted to make sure. So you guys probably get asked a lot, or will get asked a lot, as I do, when is this gonna start? So, okay, great information.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yes.
I was thinking what you were saying there about when you started here, you want to start there. And when they bid that thing, did they know that? They didn't know that.
We had 2 months for them to assemble their bids.
Yes.
So when they assemble their bids, they also put details of schedule together.
Yes.
2 of the 4 contractors called me and said, it's going to take more than 2 years for us to get this done if we just do one at a time. But if we could mobilize 2 crews, we could get it done within this time period. So they determined that over the course of their bid assembly. We didn't want to change the concept, so we included a mandatory alternate bid to allow them to identify for us what our financial benefit would be if we considered it.
So that will change our numbers.
You could end up having a cost savings to the base bid of close to $3 million, yes.
So we could have, what you're saying, a cost savings, but they wouldn't give us any demerits time or anything like that on their behalf. Or they would cost them more for them to do that.
Well, it technically does cost them more. That's why they'll give us a deduct if they can assemble 2 crews.
Good. Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Well,
Thank you all. Appreciate
Thank
it. Number 2 under old business, electrical and gas utility easement for T-Mobile water tower location. Alex?
Thank you, Mayor. We're finally here on this one. The gas and electric the easement area is fully identified as to provide services to the water tower location where T-Mobile is located. We approved that T-Mobile agreement months back. So recommend proceeding forward through this. And then if I can get the documents from the clerk's office after signature, we'll make sure those get recorded.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. So bring this to the board for any questions of Alex or action.
Questions there? Motion now?
Yeah, we would need a motion. Yes.
So move, Mayor.
So we have a motion to approve the agreement. Do we have a second?
A second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. Thank you, Alex. Number 1, under new business, request approval and EMA assistance for the Cove Cup Cruise. Is it Cove or Kobe? Let's settle it right now. Cove. All right, I was right. You want to come up, sir? And if you could state your name and address, that'd be great.
My name is Bob Schroeder. I live in 1255 Red Bud in Chesterton,
Okay, good morning.
and I'm the president of the Regional Streets.
Okay,
You guys assisted us last year with traffic control. Everything went great. The weather was great. We had Channel 56 out there recording for us. article written by Haggerty Magazine, also for some publicity. And this year we're doing May 24th. And I've submitted the stuff to Diane and what we were having done. Also have copies here if someone would like them. Plan is to start registration at 8 a.m., stop about 10:30, do a driver's meeting. Have a couple of songs sung like Back Home in Indiana by Jim Nabors from 1972, and playing the national anthem, all about 10:30. Get assembled and then leave south through Cedar Lake down to Lowell and back again. Basically the same thing we did last year was successful.
Okay.
We've also got some extra help this year. Jimmy Nelson from South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority had contacted me after the fact. And so we're kind of working with him, trying to get some other things going. I know through him, he's contacted Indianapolis Museum, 500 Museum. Because of short notice, they can't help us do much this year, but hopefully next year we can.
Yeah.
So, any questions that I can
Now,
answer?
how many cars did you have last
We
year?
had about 100 cars last year.
Okay, yeah, I remember watching it going by, yeah.
And we have one of the bigger car clubs, Winnemac Old Car Club is going to try to support us also, which normally it's just, they have a different event on that day. But this year they didn't schedule anything so they could support us.
Great.
So
Okay,
hopefully at least 100, and it's all weather based.
that's true. Good point.
We've been lucky.
Michael, you have any
Just,
input on this?
yeah, for you, Bob, does the actual, you guys leave the fairgrounds at 11 then? Is that the game plan?
That's the game
Okay.
plan, yes, sir.
And then, Mike, does EMA, do you assist them in getting out of the fairgrounds, or do you
Yeah,
assist
we
them
usually
the route
assist them
itself?
getting out, and I believe, I throw it up to my guys if they wanted to go for a ride with them, that they can.
Okay.
I think last year we went with you guys, I believe, maybe?
We
Or
did
was it
have,
A couple of years ago.
last year we did have, I think, Police Chief Ryan has supplied us with a leader.
Okay.
And then they helped us get through the course without any problem. As a matter of fact, I believe the officer turned back around after he got off of Commerce Route 2,
Mhm.
heading back up to on 55. Knowing there was a problem, he turned back around and controlled the traffic for us down there. It turned out that we've had complaints in the past, people, get impatient with the number of cars.
You're gonna have that no matter what you do. Yep.
It worked out great.
Keep doing
last
what
year.
you're doing, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if there's any actually formal action the board needs to take, Alex, on Mike and Chief, you guys can provide assistance and work with them as you can.
Yeah, I think if we just
Give them my little pack of information.
assistance by EMA.
This is Diana sent it to me
Okay.
already, so.
All right. What wasn't sent was. by,
So based on Alex's, I think if we just get the board to make a motion that we support the event itself and providing police and EMA assistance as they need it would be sufficient.
So move, Ray.
Okay, so we have that motion.
second.
And a second. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All
for
right,
your
thank you.
support.
Appreciate it. Number 2, request approval of new and updated policies for the police department. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. We have a few policies that some of the ones, one in the packet, going to replace policy 333 with 342 with communication with persons with disabilities, which flexible came out with 88 lines that put that language in. So as far as new policies, 1031 is police service awards. That's a new policy that we created. 903 and 805 were just pretty much changes in the security receipts, access and maintenance in transport. And it has.
Okay, you want to give like a brief summation to the board about how you guys now create new policies and making sure that we're current with any.
Sure. So 2 years ago, we contracted with a company called Lexipol, a national company that writes policies. They give us a kind of a go by, and then we put in what policy fits our agency, and then they look it over to make sure that it complies to federal and state law. Once we apply federal and state law review, then it gets sent on to our team, they review it. We put it out, as far as officers to be able to understand it and sign off on it.
So one, make sure that we're always in compliance and following the most up to date, because laws change. Sometimes we don't always know about them, but
Yeah, they're pretty good. There is a federal case law that comes out.
all right, thanks, Chief. Alex?
Yeah, Mayor, I mean, we worked with Chief on that. I mean, it's essentially got 2 sets of legal eyes on it. Lexipol did it once, we did it the second time, and so see no reason why we shouldn't move forward with those policy changes here today.
Okay. So bring it to the board for questions of Ryan or action. So great job putting it together. I mean,
So moved,
working
Mayor.
on this a long
That's
time. So motion to, we can do these collectively, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the policies as described by the chief. Do we have a second?
A second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Mayor, could I ask, I want to ask the chief one question.
Okay, let's finish the vote and then,
Oh, we didn't vote?
no,
I thought we did. Go ahead.
any further questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Bob, go ahead.
Chief, I've been talking to you about, we got that ordinance, we got 5 we're gonna change. When's that gonna come before that'll come to the council, won't it, man? First, it'll go to the council first, will it come to the board of work?
Oh, the ones that you've been working on with the police
Yeah.
department? Yeah, so once they're ready to present them, we'll get with the council president. He wants them on the agenda. And if legal's okay, that would be the next step.
Okay,
So
so that,
just to let you know, there was one question that legal had on one of the ordinances. And we'll do that. Hopefully we'll get on the May.
you think it'd be for the May meeting for the council?
Yeah, and then depends on too, if Attorney
Well,
Schuster
You'll
can.
be notified for it comes
Yes.
anyway. once
Oh,
it-
yeah.
There's no new ordinance being created.
And in the future, if you've got some changes, are we gonna do some more changes on some of these to update them? Are we gonna try to do so many in certain length of time?
Yeah.
So we can give them to the council?
Updating some of the ones that they're not using.
Yes.
So just take a look at it.
When we do these changes, chief, does that make your job a lot easier or more sound to the law? Where it's, some of them needs changing because they're outdated.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it just updates everything to what the current situation is.
Well, I talked to the mayor about it, and I talked to Chad Jeffries about it, and we would like to take and do as many as we can, so to help you guys, because when years ago, I used to work with Alex here, and you used to allow those ordinances for us. We do so many a month. And I'd like to take and step that up if we could. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Chief. Thank you. Jerry.
Yep. Okay, number 3, request approval of MOU between the police department and LexisNexis. Chief?
LexisNexis is also another vendor. And this is a project that me and my staff are working on, try to get MOU with, citizens can purchase tax certificates, take back. They don't have time to come to the state or whatever. We had worked with LexisNexis and we'll be a part of this. And I think it'll just streamline, it'll make it a lot easier for people that are involved in a crash and need a copy of that report. So they'll just pay a fee online to LexisNexis and then they'll give us the check for crash reporting. So they won't have to come in anymore during business hours. So a lot of agencies are doing it around us, and so we finally got with them. So this is something we'll still be able to purchase that report.
Yeah, it's definitely more convenient for, is it just crash reports or is it there's some?
Yeah, this is just gonna be.
And the fees, what the citizen will pay, it's the same, it's just, now you can jump online and get it. Okay, yeah, he's right, I mean, it's kind of the industry standard almost nowadays to get crash reports online, or at least have that option. So it's a good move. Alex, you good with the MOU?
Yeah, absolutely. We've used LexisNexis in a legal department for years now, and it's worked out well. And their service and their database is probably unmatched, so I don't see any reason why the board shouldn't move forward with this today.
The department's doing that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Sounds great.
So I'll bring it to the board for questions of chief or action.
So move on that, Mayor, as presented by the chief.
Motion to approve the MOU in a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, request approval to add a new hire to the EMA roster. Michael?
Yes, Ben Rouse is our latest recruit. He has gone through our internal interview process and gone through all the prelim procedures that we have, police department and everything. So he will be the 19th person added to our roster, and I'm just seeking his approval, please.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. So bring it to the board for questions of Mike or action on the proposed new
So moved.
addition to our EMA. A motion to approve
Second.
and a second. Who's the second? Who's the first?
He was the first.
Bobby made the motion.
I'll second.
Okay,
Scott,
gotcha.
Betsy. Got the second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thanks, Mike. Number 5, request approval for concrete work at the dog park. Adam Graper.
Yes, Mayor and Board, I'm looking for approval on some concrete work to be done at the dog park. We're looking at putting in 2 16-foot square pads. If you're not familiar, as you enter underneath the awnings where the picnic tables are, as well as some sidewalk walkways up to that area. I received 3 quotes in doing this. We received one from Milestone, a lump sum of $16,300. One from RNC Concrete Construction for the amount of $16,900, and one from Reith Riley in the amount of $49,540. There is a little bit of nuances between when Milestone and RNC can do it. They are within $600 of Lake Engineering to take a look at it, make sure we have apples to apples, but I am comfortable with either Milestone or RNC based on the timing of when it can get done. Obviously, the sooner we can get this done, the better, especially with the use of it expanding as the weather gets nicer. So it's up to the board to decide. I'm comfortable with the lowest, but I also would appreciate the expediting of the project.
Okay. So Alex, then would it be appropriate to, so you want to select one or have it pending further staff and legal review, come back to the next board meeting with the selected vendor?
We have time for that, Adam?
For to get it approved today, if we take the lowest today, I'm fine with that, but I don't know when it could get done. Doug, I don't know if you have any And they're starting concrete work with Milestone and started, so.
We have crews in town.
Okay.
So I guess, I mean, the board could take action to approve it with legal and staff's approval and move forward on it.
Okay, can you give me the vendor and the number again, Adam?
Yeah, Milestone was $16,300. RNC was $16,900. And Reith Riley was $49,540.
Okay, so then, based on that, would it be appropriate to accept the bid from Milestone at the amount stated pending final staff and legal review?
As well as time frame to get it done.
Yeah, part of the staff review and, yeah,
And I believe, anything else, extend it beyond 30 days if we can, if we can come back to the board and say, hey, if it's within 30 days, I think that's reasonable. If it's not, then I think we can come back. See who can do it quicker.
We could do it pending that, just have Adam come back, work on whatever occurred.
okay, yeah, like you said, this project timing's
Yeah.
kind of everything.
Correct. Yeah, and it's, it's not a bid opening, it's an RFQ. So
Okay. Okay, so we bring it to the board for any final action on Adam's request. I guess it'd be the motion to accept the bid at the amount stated from Milestone pending the collective staff legal review, which would include the timing component to it.
You want a motion on that, the way you just said it, Mayor?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate based on Alex's
So
direction.
move on it, Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye,
Okay.
opposed? Passes.
thank
So
you.
then, Amy, just, once the decision's made, you-
Yeah, I'll go back, update the board and kind of walk through how we.
Okay. Number 6, request approval to appoint Josh Watson as the title coordinator and accept the updated plan non-discrimination agreement.
Thank
Morning,
you.
Josh.
Good morning. The Title VI Plan and Non-Discrimination Agreement is just a document that outlines the city's commitment to ensuring equitable access to programs and services for all individuals, regardless of race, color, or national origin. The plan outlines how the city will implement Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and other relevant non-discrimination laws. The agreement serves as a formal commitment to adhering to the plan's guidelines. And then it would just make me the coordinator for it, just ensuring compliance, policy implementation, training and awareness, complaint handling, monitoring and evaluation, and reporting.
I think it's based on past history, it's customary that the planning administrator serves in this role
Yes,
for
sir.
the city. So obviously, pretty critical one. So thank you for stepping up. And
Thank you for the opportunity.
so I'll bring this to the board for questions of Josh or,
I make a motion as presented by the planner.
so I have a motion to make that appointment to Josh. Do we have a
Yes.
second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All
board.
right, thanks, Josh.
So
Appreciate it.
that will take immediately, it goes into.
Yes, yeah. Number 7, request approval of Christopher Burke stormwater review contract. Doug Bright.
Thank you, Mayor. This stormwater review contract is for Christopher Burke Engineering to provide professional services related to the review of local development plans. Services will concentrate on providing technical support and comprehensive reviews of information submitted to the city of Ground Point as part of the construction, land disturbance, stormwater permitting, also referred to as construction stormwater general permit. This will include a review of stormwater pollution prevention plans, field inspections, consultations, and general stormwater designs. This is a 1-year contract. We currently are under a contract with them now, rates have expired. This will be provided as a
Alex, turn it over to you first.
Yeah, Mayor, I did review this with Doug. I think it's the same contract that we've had with Christopher Burke for many years, so I think it's legally sufficient. Would recommend approval on it here today.
Thank you. So the board knows, everything goes through engineering review. And Christopher Burke's been a very good partner with the city, done us very well, so.
If we're doing a one-year contract, do we do it every year? Do we-
It's been a 1 year for a
1 year.
number of years now. Yeah.
Oh, Mayor, I make the motion as presented in the advice of the attorney.
So we have a motion to approve the contract. We have a second
A second.
and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Just a not to exceed contract
Not on this is an hour.
per hour as needed.
All basis.
He said it's been working very well. Doug,
Fantastic.
Yeah, they've been very good for the city.
happy. That's what I'd like to hear.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Doug. Go up, request approval of Christopher Burke MS4.
Yeah, so it's similar to, we're currently under contract for, on this full contract. The city's required by IDEM. They have a stormwater quality management plan. And within that plan, there are certain requirements that need to be met each year. Christopher Burke professional services will consist of ongoing as-needed support and assistance with various permit activities related to the city's compliance with the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. MS4 general permit. This is a 12-month contract, and this is not to exceed 40,000.
Okay. All right. Again, we'll throw it to Alex first.
Yeah, Mayor, same as the previous one. I think this is an ongoing contract that we've had with Christopher Burke for several years, and the document itself is legally sufficient. We would recommend approval on it.
Again, MS4, Bob, you know about this. Critical in development and make sure they're all in compliance. Again, they've done a great job for us.
And on that, Mayor, does, Mr. Bright, you're pretty much in contact with them all the time when we have things? You're the lead guy on that,
We have myself and Tim Maxwell.
Tim Maxwell?
Yep.
You need a motion on that?
Yes, sir.
A motion as presented by, and the compliments of the attorney also, his input.
Okay, so we have a
I'll second.
motion and a second to approve the contract. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Then we go to our add-on number 9 for the fire department, fire recovery USA contract. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. The service agreement. Say they are a third-party billing company that on our behalf will bill insurance companies for costs of consumables from fires, vehicle accidents, hazards. Been using another company called ESBC for well over a decade, but they are closing their doors effective immediately. So this is just a different company with same services. We rely on this revenue to help replace consumables used at clean up after accidents, especially hazmat. Whenever hazmat's involved, none of that stuff is cheap. That's help repair or replace any equipment that was damaged or broken during the course of incident mitigation. So without this, all of that cost would have to be expended through our general fund, which, nothing was cheap, so this helps offset a lot of that cost. A few things important to note is that they will only go after, they only bill insurance policies. And no residents will ever receive a bill if they pay. So the insurance company, most homeowner policies only have a maximum of $500 for specifically for the fire department services for this. Even though there might be a air pack that was broke during it, that might cost $700. We're all go after the policy. similar for auto policies. things like that. So, Legal's reviewed it. There's a few language changes that we have to reach out to them to see if they'll change, but the meat and potatoes of it is not going to change. Requesting approval based after the review.
Okay, so two things, yeah, so the citizen, they don't receive any kind of separate bill, and this isn't a new program that we've had this in place, we're just, the vendor we use is, is no longer gonna be in business, so this is a new vendor doing the same thing.
Right, and it's important to note, the only exception to the billing part is, they will, bill directly, commercial carriers. Deal with a lot of that on I-65, God knows what they're hauling, it's our responsibility to mitigate it, crash. That expense is on us, so we have to go and try to reimburse, those costs, so. A lot of those commercial carriers are self-insured, so there's no insurance policy to go after, so. Right, that's the only exception to it. Joe Citizen gets in a car accident.
Right. Alex, you good with the agreement?
Yeah, Mayor, there's a couple things I'd asked the chief to go back on. It's, one was the billing, and how they identify which accounts are theirs, so we're gonna make some changes to that. To specifically indicate that it's on accounts that are sent to them, from the department. And then this agreement, actually reads under, California law, which is where this company is based out of, and we requested that to be changed to Indiana law. So as long as we get those two changes approved by the vendor, we will get to go with that.
Okay, so we'd be in a position where you'd pending final legal
Correct.
Review and acceptance, approve it. Okay. Okay, so we'll bring this to the board for further questions of the chief or action.
So move on that, Mayor, as presented by the fire chief and the attorney. And that would wrap that up that would fix pretty much what you're gonna do. There's gonna be nothing else with it for right now.
Correct, yeah, we haven't sent any claims in several months. We stopped accepting claims the first of the year, so once get all this approved, we can start to that day starting the first of the year.
Does that make your job a lot easier?
Well, yeah, because we don't have the manpower to be able to go after insurance companies. We have EMS, we do EMS billing in-house. Christine, she wouldn't have the bandwidth to be able to do this, so. They charge, they take a certain percentage of whatever they receive from the insurance company as their fee. Their fee is a lot less than what the SPC was.
So this has been going on for quite a while. This has changed now is just taking shoring up what we're doing to make your job a lot easier. Mayor, I
Yes.
thought I was gonna ask you a question. I said the same thing.
Yeah, so let's finish the motion. So we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? So as Chief stated, this is a program that's been in place for a number of years. The vendor that we have used is no longer in operation, so this is just replaces that vendor.
Oh, okay.
Keeps things status
I
quo.
think
for
I
the
missed that. Okay. Fine, Mayor.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Chief. Anything in the miscellaneous? Not, our next meeting will be Wednesday, May 7th at 11 a.m. We need a motion to adjourn.
So
A motion to adjourn, second,
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion?
thank
Hearing
you,
none,
Alex.
all in favor signify with
Your
an eye.
star shined
Aye.
out today a
Aye.
little bit on us.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.